Well, hello to my Sunday school friends. It is good to see you. I should tell you that Sunday school is starting again. I don't know when you're going to watch this video, but if you're watching it sort of close to the time that I'm making it, starting September 25th, Sunday school is going to be happening in person at both churches in the Tomorrow River Lutheran Parish. So it's going to meet at 9 o'clock at Peace Church and 9:30 at Nelsonville Church. You can go to either one. You can flip back and forth if your family has different plans on different days. It's going to be good to get back together. We're also going to have little children's sermons in the church services on every Sunday that we don't have communion. So that's coming back, that thing that we lost during the COVID. And I'm going to keep doing these Bible story videos. Now, we're going to go different directions. The Sunday school classes are going to be talking about Jesus' life this year on Sundays, and I'm going to keep talking about the stories of the Old Testament. I mean, we've been doing it for 2.5 years, something like that, and so I want to finish the big stories with you. So there's lots of opportunities for you to learn and grow in person, talking about Jesus, online, these Old Testament stories. I hope you do both. Thank you for thinking about it. All right, now, when we left off, we had the prophet Elijah, remember? And he'd gone to King Ahab, who was a terribly wicked king of the northern kingdom of Israel. King Ahab and his wife Jezebel were just about the worst possible king and queen. They worshipped false gods and they led their people astray. And God sent Elijah to Ahab, and Elijah said to him, "It's not going to rain anymore until I say so, because you've been such a terrible sinner. God's not going to put up with it anymore." And Ahab thought that Elijah was crazy. Didn't pay any attention to it until it stopped raining. Right? No dew on the ground in the morning, no rain fell. Crops are failing, animals are dying. Ahab is looking everywhere for Elijah. Remember, Elijah was hiding by a little stream out in the wilderness. So he had water, and then God appointed the ravens to bring him bread and meat every day to feed him. And when we ended last time, the stream had dried up, and God said to Elijah, "Go to Zarephath," which is a town that isn't even in Israel. It's north of Israel, in a part of the world that doesn't have Jewish people, Hebrew people in it, right? Go to Zarephath, and there's a widow there who will take care of you. So he goes to Zarephath, Elijah does, and he comes to the edge of the town, and he sees a woman who is walking around and gathering sticks. And he says to her, "Bring me a little water so I can have a drink." It sounds kind of rude, but in that day, that would have been okay. That would have been sort of a normal thing to do. So she brings him water. And then he says, now I want you to bring me some bread. And she says, "That's a problem. I'm out here gathering sticks. I have just a handful of flour at my house, a little bit of oil, cooking oil in a jug. I'm gathering sticks to make the last meal that my son and I have. We are very poor. We don't have anything. We're going to make this last little bit of bread, and then we're going to get to work starving to death because there is nothing else." And Elijah says, "You're not going to starve to death. Make me a loaf of bread, bring it to me, and then God will provide." So she looks at him all puzzled, and he says, "No, really, God will provide. That little handful of flour that you have, that's going to keep expanding, right? Flour is going to just appear in the flour canister. That jug of oil, it's never going to run out. God has sent me to you. I'm going to stay with you. You're going to take care of me. I'm going to take care of you. God's going to take care of all of us. We're going to be fine." So now she has a decision to make. Is she going to trust Elijah? Is she going to trust the word of the Lord that Elijah is bringing to her? Well, it might seem like, that's a big thing. I have only this one little tiny bit of bread left. Am I really going to give it to someone else? But maybe in her mind, she was thinking, what do I have to lose? Whether we start starving to death now or in a couple hours doesn't really matter. So she does what Elijah asks. She takes the last of her flour and the last of her oil, and she makes him some bread. And then the canister refills, the jug refills. And it kept refilling. So that during this whole period, this whole time where Elijah is hiding from Ahab in Zarephath, the widow and her son and Elijah are all being provided for by God. They are all eating every day. There is food for them. The food never, ever runs out. And she has to be thinking, I am so glad that I listened to him. But it hasn't really gone all the way to her bones that she's in the presence of the prophet of God, and that God, though she hasn't known who God is, that this God is bigger than just making flour appear in a canister or oil appear in a jug. And one day her son gets sick and he dies. And she falls apart. She is so sad. She can't believe it. She strikes out at Elijah. She doesn't hit him, but she says stuff that, did you do this to me? That now that you're here, I know that I've been a sinful person, and did God take my son? And she's just in terrible grief. And Elijah picks up that little boy and he carries him to his room and he prays, "Oh God, please. Oh God, please give him his life back." And God does. That little boy comes back to life. And Elijah brings him to his mother, and the mother says, "I now know that you're a man of God and that the word of God is in your mouth." She is so happy. And so for a little while longer, the three of them continue to live in that house, eating food that God provides, waiting for God's will to be done in Ahab and in Jezebel's life, so that God can keep working with Israel, getting the world ready for Jesus. We'll pick this up next week. You take care. I hope to see you in Sunday school talking about Jesus' life. I hope that you keep watching these videos and talking about them with your family, and that together we all keep learning all the things that we should know. God sent Elijah to a widow in Zarephath and took care of all of their needs. I'll see you soon. Bye.